right, baby. Here it is, man. One of the reasons why I picked this, and again, it's mostly the public domain, but like, this is a goddamn horror masterpiece. I mean, you have a framed photo of you and George A. Romero hanging on your wall, don't you?
I do, man. Yeah, I had a chance to meet him, and before we get started here, I'll tell my famous George Romero story. Back, I want to say it was like 2008. He had come into town for a convention, and I was actually working as a handler for that convention. And I was sent up to his hotel room across the street from the convention center to go get him.
This story better end with you doing cocaine with George A. Romero. If it doesn't, I'm out.
So I walked him down from the hotel down to the convention center, and he stopped. He stopped me like halfway down. He said, "Look, man, I got to go to the restroom right now." So he ducks into the bathroom.
George A. Romero's got some irritable bowel syndrome, apparently.
I think he did.
Yeah.
He was in the bathroom for no less than 25 minutes, and he was in there shitting, and it was really bad. The shit actually came out of the public restrooms and into the breezeway where I was standing.
You are
And it was the
kidding me.
most rancid shit that I have ever smelled in my entire life. And he was, he
man.
was in there bull farts and blowing ass. But if anybody's earned it, I guess it's, the king of the zombies.
I wouldn't want his shit to be any differently, honestly. And I'm sure that he really appreciates, now that he's dead, you telling this story. Like, I thought it was going to be like, oh my God, George A. Romero, he told me this amazing thing about filmmaking once. No, brother took the worst shit I have ever smelled in my life.
He was a really, really nice guy. I mean, I got, like I said, I have that photo of him, and he was very nice and cordial. And people don't realize how tall he is either. He's like 6'6".
Really?
Big guy, yeah.
Well, you keep saying he's dead, right? Am I breaking this news to you right now?
He's not. He's still real to me, damn it.
This movie is so important for so many reasons. I hate this bitch. This is the most annoying character in the entire film. I love Andy Daly there from Mad TV and Review. He's great.
Yeah, that does kind of look like him, doesn't it?
I love too that this movie about zombies and about the dead begins on Memorial Day, where we have the whitest cracker, saltine man Peckerwood possible, complaining about decorating the grave of his father.
It's weird watching these old movies like this because they all have that audio that sounds crazy and everybody inexplicably seems to talk like this. So it's really hard to tell if a movie's bad or not. Like when it comes to these old black and white movies, this movie basically looks and sounds just like Citizen Kane. Like, I can't tell the fucking difference.
No, it does not.
Everybody acted and looked. Everyone looked and acted just alike. I'm telling you, man. Like, I've seen Citizen Kane, and I appreciate the movie, and I can't distinguish it from any other film of
No,
the
wait a minute,
era.
wait a minute. Well, the deep focus, the cinematography, like I sound like the biggest. I love how you're the one that went to film school and you're over here going, I tell you what, Citizen Kane, an old episode of Andy Griffith, it's all the same to me.
You know what, man?
And
I'm trying to talk.
The same.
I'm trying to be real with our listeners, man. I mean, I understand all the stuff he did because we discussed that a lot in film school. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think there was like 3 weeks where that's all we talked about was Citizen Kane. And I know everything that's in there, but on the surface, it seems to have the same look, sound, and playability of every other movie of the era.
Well, Citizen Kane came out in the early 40s, mid 40s at latest. This is 1968, and it looks way older than that because they made this movie with very little budget. That's why they shot it on the cheapest film they possibly could. I mean,
which happened to be black and white film.
Yeah, the budget, which is why a lot of rap videos in the 80s and early 90s were in black and white. It wasn't an artistic trend. It was one that was out of necessity. It was
they do it mostly for lighting.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about color temperatures with lighting if it's in black and white.
That's why a lot of my shitty low budget commercials I do, they wind up being in black and white if I can't get that lighting right. You know what I mean? It's my artistic decision.
Right.
But man, like one of the things that Romero mentioned, because this was his first movie, and this was a collaborative effort of him and a lot of his friends in Pennsylvania, was they did have an incredibly small budget. Most of the guys put up $600 a piece so they could get this I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 6,000 was the initial idea, but it wound up being much more expensive than that. But a lot of these guys, like the crew is small. Like a lot of the actors in this also did makeup, the carpentry,
right, yeah. Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's definitely like a staple. Yeah. Somebody had to supply the cocaine to George Romero. No, it's a beautifully done movie, and the social commentary of it is timeless, and it's well shot, it's well directed, but it does have a very small feel in an era of movies where it was really hard to tell the difference between a big budget and a low budget film.
I mean, here it comes. Here it comes. Here's the famous part.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Ah, shit!
Stop it! You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
She is the worst actress in this whole movie.
You're acting like a child.
I don't know. I just don't enjoy.
Really awful.
I don't enjoy the catatonic character in any movie, and I understand this is probably one of the first horror movies with that trope, but like she annoys the shit out of me. Here we go. Here's our first zombie, baby. Here we go. Oh, love it.
Very light on makeup. So light on makeup.
And he has the most makeup of any zombie in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Now watch. He's getting ready to kill Johnny here by lightly pushing him onto the soft grass. Here we go. Oh, and now he's dead. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Here, Johnny's fighting back. Bipping up, brother. Hope spot. He's in the heat. Oh! The back of the head cracked against the tombstone. And look at that. Look at Pat Kilbane is pissed, bro.
Too. Tom Savini did with the remake, man. He directed it. Did you see that? The spot where Johnny takes the bump on the gravestone?
Takes the bump.
They actually used a dummy for that, and using a dummy, they were allowed to actually bounce his fucking head off the gravestone. It looked really gnarly.
Now, see, that's cool. And I watched this again earlier. I saw this movie years ago, but I watched it before we started recording just so I could, get refreshed. And what I didn't even notice the first time that they had the popping sound of his skull hitting the grave. I really thought like, brother took a bump, See, that's the thing. These kids, nobody sells these days. Look at this. This is a jarring shot. Look at this shot. I love the camera shaking back and forth as the zombie's trying to get in. This is where the movie is telling you, man, we're not fucking around. Here we go.
This is back in the 60s when people would actually pass out in the movie theaters and have to be taken out by ambulance.
Oh, here we go. Watch the look. Now, this is one of the million things that makes the zombies in this movie different than a lot of others. Like, they use tools and shit. They're not as stupid as the other zombies. But
yeah, he showed a lot of that in Land of the Dead, too. He had zombies who could use guns and they could use tools, a hammer and so forth.
Oh, watch now. This was the 60s, so now we're seeing a woman drive, and very accurately, she makes it about 20 feet before hitting a tree. Watch
yeah. And 6 men stood up in the movie theater and walked out.
What?
I mean, I could suspend disbelief, but this is just too damn much.
There we go. Yeah, they were upset. I can't believe she made it that far. She made it all the way down the road. You kidding me? How does she even know what that brake does? How does she even know what that big wheel does in that car?
I love that she crashed that car without ever touching the tree.
Well, they had to get that car back to the producer's dad's house later that night.
You ever notice that they never shot that car from the wrecked side the whole opening of the movie?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
That car was wrecked the whole time.
They got it used from a demolition derby earlier. You're talking about the Tom Savini remake. I think that when again this movie became public domain. I looked into it a little bit. I guess that when they first made the movie, they called it Night of the Flesh Eaters. It wasn't called Night of the Living Dead, and they put the copyright on it. But when it got distributed, whoever distributed it took the copyright off, and then it became public domain, which seems like that a far too simple story, but here we are.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you could just lose your creation if somebody made a fuck up like that.
Well, the financiers, weren't they mob members or had mafia ties or something?
I never heard that. I'm not saying it's not true. Is that something that George Romero told you? Kid.
No.
I was
he didn't tell me
fucking
personally. I just
Don
heard
Vito's
that.
wife.
Yeah. No, I had heard that one of the original financiers, or maybe the production company, or the distributors that put the movie out, they had a lot of like mob backing. I'd heard that. I'd read that somewhere.
That is fantastic. You're talking about how people were passing the fuck out in the studio. This came out in 1968. 1969 is when the MPAA is established, that you got to, rate movies, right? G, PG, R.
Yeah.
And this movie was one of the big reasons why it was created, because there's stories of this movie just, playing in the afternoon, because again, all movies played when the fuck ever, unless it was a porno, right?
Yeah.
And, kids going in on these Saturday matinees and just people losing their mind. Like, there's stories of people running out of the theater vomiting. And again, it's funny because the violence in this movie is nothing compared, obviously, to what would happen even, 10 years, 5 years later. But, it's for 1968, it was some pretty wicked stuff.
Yeah, it's so weird to watch this sort of stuff from the 60s, because if you look at this and then think to yourself that 4 years later, The Exorcist came out. And these two movies look like there's about 20 years between them.
But this movie also has kind of a timeless feel to it too, though.
It does.
Like, I mean, it obviously it's black and white, which makes it seem older, but it's shot in a way, and I think it's because they use the cheap handheld cameras and stuff, and obviously a lot of it was intentional, but it's kind of like, when a band has little resources and they use all the shit to make it their own, like tramp art, right? Like, you work within your limitations and this new beautiful art is created. I think that's why this movie holds up better than probably, I would assume, George Romero's other movies. I mean, I'm sure that, have you seen them all? Have you seen all of Romero's Night of the Dead, Day of the Dead, all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, I've seen all of his zombie movies. I've even seen a few of his other ones, like The Crazies and Martin. Martin was a cool vampire movie he did in the early 70s. That was actually a lot of fun. Monkey Shines, I watched that movie as a kid, and I had a migraine headache and severe nausea. And if you've ever seen that movie, it's just a creepy little weird flick. And I never could watch it again because I just associate like illness with watching that movie. It's
Well,
really
are you
weird.
saying that you had like a demon possess you? Is that what I'm getting at? I couldn't.
Maybe,
Oh,
yeah.
here it is. Ah, look at that. Love it. Yeah, baby. Fall down those stairs. Break your neck this time. Every time I watch this, I hope she dies falling down those stairs.
Falls on the blade of that knife.
I wish. And here we go. We're getting ready to be introduced to the film.
She really, really was a terrible choice as a lead.
Look
Now,
at that.
Here's
look
the
at
other
way,
thing, man.
Look at the way he just comes into the frame like that, man. Jarring as fuck. I love it.
Yeah. Wow,
Shutting
man,
that shit.
A black male lead. That was virtually unheard of for this.
Oh
film.
my God. And the fact that they wrote it to be a white guy. And that's why, Romero directed it. In a lot of ways, it was like The Evil Dead, with Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. The fact that, those two and a couple others wrote that movie and Bruce Campbell starred in it and Raimi directed it. This movie has a lot of this feel because, as you'll see, the bald guy who's going to come up here, I believe he was one of the guys who wrote it or whatever, and he's a horrible actor.
Cooper.
And but the main star here was friends with Romero, and when he got the part because he was the best actor out of everybody there. Imagine that. Imagine that being. But apparently, even when he was cast in this movie as the star, he was like, "Are you fucking with me? Are you exploiting me?" Like, he was just so shocked. And I remember the first time I saw this movie on TV, I caught it halfway through when, spoiler alert, all the other people are going to be in the house. And when all the other characters started getting picked off one by one, and the last guy living was the black guy, I was like, what? This is the first time in movie history this has ever happened.
You know, just for the record, I don't think you have to throw a spoiler alert out for a 50-year-old movie.
Well, I don't know. Somebody's pissed. Like, motherfucker, why'd you have to ruin it for me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I just can't get over there. What a horrible choice she was for her lead. Like, she has no redeemable quality throughout the whole movie. She's unrelatable. She has no accessibility. She's whiny and annoying. It's just awful. And honestly, the one in Tom Savini's 1990 remake, the chick they casted as Barbara was much better, but I mean, she still wasn't great. Now,
I remember
Ben being played by the Candyman, Tony Todd, was a dope choice, I thought.
I remember watching that, and I remember liking it, not liking it as much as this, but isn't it a lot shorter? I feel like the movie is like a fraction of the time that this movie is.
I don't think there's a big difference in time. I mean, the movie's pretty close in terms of shot for shot. It's
well, here we go though, and again we're seeing these guys use tools, and that guy really might be dead. That looks like a corpse that they fished out of the river.
They're doing like a Weekend at Bernie's with him. Actually, it's a Weekend at Bernie's too, so they're just playing like kettle drum music, and he gets up and walks on his own like this.
See, this is back in the 60s when in a movie or television show, if a woman got lippy, you just had to smack some sense into her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we call that the good old days.
You see, you can't say stuff that I can't edit out on this one.
That's a good point, yeah. I didn't think about that. So I'd like to formally apologize for the remark that I just made.
Now, see, look at this. Okay, he's beating this dude's head in with a crowbar. We see nothing. We see nothing here.
Nothing.
But like this, people are like losing their minds in the theater. Like, my God! Yeah. Because you're putting it's like Psycho, the shower scene. You're putting the image in the audience's mind. I saw it. I saw all of his thoughts. I saw his kindergarten memories spurt out of his ear. I saw it.
Now, here's an interesting tidbit for you. You know what they used for blood in this movie?
What's that?
Hershey's chocolate syrup.
Really?
Yep. That's one of the advantages of shooting in black and white. It was in various stages of, being watered down and so forth. For arterial blood, they would use like a less watered down version of the chocolate syrup, and then for for coverage and stuff, they would use like a much more watered down version.
Here we go.
It's actually brilliant.
This makes sense though. I mean, they shot it in Pennsylvania. They were just buying local. How about that?
Yeah.
Look, collar, elbow, tie up. Here we go. The gimmick on the ground, baby. The ref don't see
Irish
it.
whip. Oh, no.
On top one. Shoulder gets up. Here we go. Going for the eyes. He don't give a damn. He's reaching, brother. He's got it. Oh, Tully Blanchard says, I quit. Put that in his eye. Put that in his eye, Magnum. Put it in his eye. Look at that.
You jump at any opportunity to turn anything into Mid-South wrestling, don't you?
Well, we're Mid-Atlantic. I mean, I'm a equal opportunity. Here we go. Oh, I love that. Ooh, look at that poor guy. He was buried in his bathrobe. Why would a dead man? I love it. I love it.
I love the trope of the living dead, I think, more than the modern zombie. Because the modern zombie are just infected people. Like, there's a virus that goes out and infects people. In the old zombie movies, Romero did, they were the living dead. Like, they were literally reanimated corpses.
Well, there's so much subtext in all this movie, and I was looking. Here we go. I love how she's staring at the dead body, and he goes, "Don't look at that."
Yeah.
Don't look at that, woman. Your woman brain can't comprehend this. This darkness, woman. There we go.
There's an error in that shot right there when it cuts to the zombies kind of just lumbering along there. They were standing still waiting for a call of action. For a split second, you can see them standing still. And then they start walking. Yeah, it's just a flub in editing.
How many times have you seen this?
I'm not sure, man. I don't think there's any way to count. It's been a lot.
I'm gonna light my e-cig marijuana off this flame.
Yeah.
There we go. You don't want to have fun with the green screen? Come on.
No, I got really, really high before this, and then that's the way to enjoy this movie. So if you're at home and you're just dicking around wanting to watch this along with us, you should really be high.
This is a masterpiece, man. This is a movie. This is one of the few movies, one of the few things in life that you can enjoy sober.
But to that we say, why? Why bother?
God, you know what? You're finally speaking, Kyle. Yeah. I love it. I love that. A lot of social subtext in this, though. I mean, not obviously just because the lead is a black guy, but this was on the heels of the Detroit race riots. This is when a bunch of, and you're not going to believe this, but apparently white people like to hold others down. I don't know. Stop me if you've heard this.
Well, more importantly than the Detroit race riots, this was on the heels of just how white people treated black people every single day in the 60s. Like, it didn't really, there didn't need to be anything in the social climate going on. Like, white people were just generally shitty to anybody else who's not white in the 60s.
I'm not saying that racism started in like 1967. It wasn't.
Up until then, it was harmonious. Everything was great.
Oh, here we go. Look at her. Do you understand? Look at her. Also, and apparently there's a lot of subtext here, I guess in McCarthyism, which was still hot all the time. Let's see. I'm reading this from the Hollywood Reporter. Barbara quickly falls to the background once the other occupants of the house, the Cooper family, and teenage couple Tom and Judy are introduced. I'll say this. So from this part of the movie, because this movie got off to a hell of a start, right?
Yeah.
We are 22 minutes in, and now, okay, there's a lull in the action. I get that. I think if this movie were remade, and I think it finally was, obviously, I think this is what Savini cut out. All this part of the movie, because this goes on for a while before the other people.
Yeah, this is the difference between a great filmmaking artist and a guy who was a special effects wizard who decided to direct a film once. Like, that's the big difference. There's a lot of establishing shots and a lot of very artistic shots that Romero did a wonderful job with as a first-time filmmaker, but you just didn't see them in the remake. I mean, mainly because Tom Savini is not even half the filmmaker that Romero was, but also under time constraint, because this was 1990 was a way different time from 68 in terms of, a movie's watchability and how people viewed movies and stuff, in terms of their attention span and things like that. So a lot of the establishing stuff in this movie was either expedited or just cut out entirely.
Well, this movie was re-released by one of its producers. Romero, he was cool with the re-release, but he said that there was no real reason to, at least in his mind. But one of the producers recut it, and I'm assuming because he said that he recut it for modern sensibilities as far as pacing goes, and I would assume that they probably just cut all this out. Because look, there is a large portion of this right here, and again, where he's just boarding up the windows, and I get it. I mean, it's 1968. I mean, what a lot of people take for granted is that this movie established the lore of zombies. Like, this is, and especially zombies being a non-African thing, which is another one of the reasons why having a black lead in this movie makes so sense. Right. Because, well, that's why, like when Wes Craven made The Serpent and the Rainbow in 88, I think, people in the 80s thought that movie was racist. Do you have any idea how racist you had to be in the fucking 80s?
Yeah.
For people to think shit was racist? Which, by the way, I love that movie.
If somebody thinks something in the 80s is racist, I wouldn't even be able to register that now. Like, it's got to be, it's got to be really racist.
Well, that's like Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, Andrew Dice Clay had a lot of people in 1985, demonstrating against him for his anti-gay views. Think about how homophobic you had to be in the fucking 80s.
Well, that answers the question right there. To be picketed for being anti-gay or homophobic, you basically have to be on the level of Andrew Dice Clay. That speaks volumes.
Yeah. I just watched his specials. I watched all of his specials recently for another podcast. And you know what? They kind of hold up until he gets to the whole gay people should just stay in the closet stuff. I would argue it didn't age as well.
Yeah, that bit in particular.
Look at her. She's just popping bubble wrap. Look at her. God damn.
Yeah. She's going to drape it over her head and pretend she's a bride because that's what women are all about. That's all they... In the 60s, man, that's all they could do in a movie. They could either be a bride or a wife.
That's right.
Or they could be a waitress in a diner.
I forgot that you were commenting on the 60s. I was like, for a moment, I was like, is Jeremy just going through some shit? Like, here we go. But yeah, man, the whole zombie thing is, taken, at least in pop culture, from this Haitian folklore. And this was the first movie where it was like, no, it's because the cause, as we're going to see here, is from radiation by NASA. The government fucked everything up. And I love, and we're going to see it here coming up in a little bit because they're going to sit down and watch TV. They show press conferences in this movie, and it is some of the most realistically shot press conference footage
He did a lot of that in Dawn of the Dead, too. It was very, very well done.
You really could tell, man. This motherfucker had a vision, man. This is an auteur.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing I'm thinking about is how much fucking pussy did Dwayne Jones get after this movie? Yeah, hi, I'm a strikingly handsome, tall black man. Like, I guarantee that motherfucker didn't even have time to put on pants after this movie.
I wouldn't. God damn, dude.
Oh, man.
I bet it though, man, for real. I mean, this has to be one of the... I mean, how many movies had a black guy as the lead before this?
I don't know of another one. I'm sure there... Yeah, there's Sidney...
To Serve with Love? Black leads...
Well, there were a few black filmmakers at that point, but... I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of another movie from the era with a black lead.
God damn it. I'm using another browser here, and it's set to Bing. I mean, I might as well just shout into the void. Why the fuck? God damn, I've never searched Bing and had a relevant fucking answer. It's like giving me a recipe for a casserole now. Let's see. Tessa Thompson, Sylvie's Love. No, she's in Thor Ragnarok. What the fuck? Look at this. God damn it. This is horrible. I'm going to have to Google this shit. There we go.
We were riding in the cemetery.
This is sort of the point in the movie where you can start to see Ben getting fed up with her catatonic bullshit, staring off into space. He's like, bitch, I'm trying to get this house boarded up so we don't get eaten by flesh eaters. You're sitting over here rambling about something womany. I don't want to hear about your ovaries, woman. Help me board these windows up.
The presence, and this is from Wikipedia, the presence of African Americans in major motion picture roles has stirred controversy dating back decades before Hattie McDaniel played Mammy, the house servant in Gone with the Wind. God damn it. Oh, man, we really fucked up a lot, didn't we, Jeremy?
Yeah, we did. We sure did, champ.
That is awful. So it looks like... Let's see, New Hollywood.
So late? And I said, Johnny, if you'd gotten up earlier.
God, this is a depressing Wikipedia page to read. I'm just gonna exit off this.
Oh, Mammy.
Oh man, I tell you what. Here we go. Here's her big. Look at him. Look at him just looking around. Look at him. I am sick of your shit already.
Did you ever watch the last season of Eastbound and Down?
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah.
I was watching that the other night, and Will Ferrell plays sort of that Southern kind of douchebag that's loosely based on Ric Flair. Yeah. But they go to his house for a dinner, and he lives in a plantation house, and he has a large black woman servant whose name is Mammy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How did they ever get away with that? That was shit.
I don't think that could happen now. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't.
I mean, that was only like 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah, no, I've thought about that. The fact that they had like the kabuki, people for the and it wasn't even. I mean, it was obviously making fun of the racism in that, but still, I think that the context would probably lost. I would.
Yeah,
assume.
well, I think if you get in blackface and make fun of blackface, you're still in blackface.
Well, I don't think that they did. They didn't do blackface.
No, that wasn't. No. That wasn't literal. I just mean, if you're making fun of racism and you do racism shit to make fun of it, you're still doing racist shit.
Right. No. Oh, look. No, look. And I know there's a lot of people out there right now, and still, like, because there's justification for it all the time. Look, you're not going to win this fight. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to win this There's always I think. Look, that's fine. You think that way, but you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that you can't look. I'm not saying you should think that way. Let me clarify. Yeah. Kyle Fields says blackface is okay. No, don't do it. Is my point.
Yeah.
It's not your call, Philip Schuyler. It's not your call, Schuyler.
Yeah, Schuyler. Look what it did to Ted Danson. I mean, he did that shit in the 90s, right?
I remember that. That was like the first. Oh, God. Look at the baby face firing up on the. Remember? Look at her, and she's rolling back.
Oh, my God.
Look at that. See, that's the way it used to be back in the business, son. One slap, and then you'd take a bump off that and sell it for 20 fucking minutes.
I'm going to go ahead and say she blew somebody and was promised this role.
Now, look, he's taking her clothes off here. This is starting to get a little weird. Come on now.
I'm starting to get good.
Jesus Christ. See, I can't edit your shit out. Don't do this. Oh, look at that. All right, this is 1968, but that radio looks like it's from 1823. Like before they even knew what a radio. It's like Da Vinci made that radio. Yeah.
They listened to War of the Worlds on there, and they all hit for the heels.
Yeah, they jumped out of their barn towers. Yeah. Here we go. This station and
you do that. You do that really well.
The old-timey radio. Oh, yeah, I know. Here we go. Now, and again, this is probably where in a normal movie we would see the other people who are in the basement come forward. But instead, and again, I get why he was doing this. You have the burst of action, the horror, then you have to establish normalcy before this movie loses its
not just that. You have to give
end.
You have to give the viewer time to take in what they just saw, all that chaos, and now it needs to slow down so you can let that sink in, and then it's just going to get, it's going to amp back up again.
It's like a System of a Down song.
Yeah, or a Pixie song maybe.
I wonder, because we see, I'm asking the question, I know the answer. We see all the deer and shit on the wall. That's where that came from in the Evil Dead 2.
Uncle Reg.
What's that?
It's Uncle Reg's house.
Who's Uncle Reg's?
Uncle Reg.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for a moment.
No, this is his house.
Come and stay! God damn it, you love it! I miss that old motherfucker, dude. I love that show. Just the fucking ramblings of a 60-year-old cocaine addict. And don't tell me that he didn't snort a goddamn gigantic rail before he walked out every day.
Every few months I watch an Adam Sandler movie just so I can remind myself to stay pissed off at him. And I chose Little Nicky last month. And that scene where I guess he was just kind of showing that evil was sort of taking over the city. You see Regis talk about following this guy home and beating him to death with a baseball bat in his driveway. He said, "Did you see The Untouchables? I was De Niro."
He was great in everything he did.
He was.
Oh, here we go. Now we're going to see some shit. UK just won a goddamn game, baby. It's time to burn that couch. Look at that. Oh, we're on fucking South Limestone right now.
Yeah.
There's all the homeless people. Look at them. Oh,
They all lined up outside to ask him if he could bum a cigarette.
Here we go. I almost got stabbed by a homeless guy on South Limestone at a McDonald's one time. I ever tell you that?
No, please,
Yeah.
please tell me that story.
I used to do remotes, at the radio
I like
station.
any story that ends with you either being stabbed or almost stabbed.
Well, I got plenty of them, son.
Mm-hmm.
No, I used to do, I would do stunts for the radio station, the morning show that I was on. I would go down and I would talk to people, and it was National Hug Day. It's all it was, National Hug Day. And I'm talking to Twitch on the phone. It's live over the air. I go, hey, man, this guy looks crazy. He goes, oh, it's great. Go hug him. I'm like, dude, this dude looks fucking nuts. And he's like, oh, go hug him. So I'm like, hey, sir, it's National Hug Day. And he goes, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'll stab you. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll see you later.
That story could have been better, I think.
Well, I'm sorry. You asked me about it. I apologize. Would it have been better if I would have been gutted halfway through? Would you have enjoyed that?
Well, no, I would want the gutting at the end.
No, thank you. Thank you. Speaking of gutting and entrails, one of the reasons why this movie was so violent, it looks so graphic, and we're going to see this coming up, is that they had one of the friends of the producers owned a butcher shop. And he told him, hey, man, anything you want, entrails, brains, dicks, I got them, man. You want dicks? I'll get you the dicks. We don't want the dick, Ricky. God damn. I'll get you a couple dicks.
That's the good thing about Ricky. Say what you will. He always makes sure you take home at least a couple of cow dicks.
Can I get one of those? Hold on. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at that nice watch. Oh. All right. Now I love how we're getting the exposition here from the radio. Misshapen monsters. The word zombie is never used in this movie.
It's never used in any Romero movies.
Have you seen any of his colorized movies?
You mean like just his later movies?
Well, no, I mean the versions of this that are colorized, I should say.
Oh, no. I've seen some that were overdubbed. Have you seen the overdubbed versions of this movie?
No.
Oh, man, they did some silly fucking overdubs with this, and it was on YouTube for a while.
Was that back in the G.I. Joe faux PSA days?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Get out of the fucking kitchen!
The house is on fire. Get the fuck out of here.
I miss those. God damn it.
Holy shit.
That makes me want to go to College Humor right now and check that shit out, man.
Yeah.
I found a gun and some bullets out there.
Those were on FinslerFilm.com.
What was it? Finsterfilm.com?
Finsler, the guy's last name who made those, his last name was Finsler. And the website where they originally hosted those was FinslerFilms.com.
What's that guy? Did he get rich off those, hopefully? Is he living on some goddamn island somewhere where it's still 2004 and he's sipping Surge and watching fucking old Nitros?
Probably not.
What happened to him? That's my hero. That's what I hope happened to that motherfucker. I like him.
Yeah, I hate it when people get rich.
I know you do, bro. You fucking hate any level of success for anybody else.
I really do. It's because I have so little of my own.
No, you didn't have to tell us that. We all realize that. It's not like people are sitting around going, man, I bet Jeremy's rich.
You got to understand the irony of calling your co-host of the show that you're on unsuccessful.
Oh, do you think that they think the same thing about me? I'm just like, I don't have to tell all these people that I'm not successful. They are aware.
When's the last time you woke up before 11 a.m.?
Oh, God. Well, hold on. I wake up every night to go piss now. That's a fun thing that just started recently. But you mean like rolling out of bed?
No, yeah.
Oh,
what time what's the last time you got up before 11 a.m. to start your day?
Why are you asking me to remember so far back? What are you, my fucking psychiatrist?
Well, that's just my point.
Yeah, fuck you. How about that?
Well, I'm going to say, how many successful people?
You're one of those weird psychopaths, though. Yeah. Oh, don't give me your speech on successful people like you're Warren Buffett. I don't want to hear your shit. So yeah, I might as well tell you how to fucking succeed in the NBA. You start telling me how to fucking be successful. I'll start giving you some fucking tips on your jump shot, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't think successful people get up at noon. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of them do. You wake up at 6, but it's only big. You are the kind of person who wakes up at 6 only because that's just you. Like fucking alarms don't work for you and shit, right?
Dude, I get up at 6:30 every morning and I take my dog for a walk 2 miles. When's the last time you walked 2 miles in one day?
I know I've been getting on the treadmill and I've been doing all that shit. But again, though, it's not like you're Dwayne Johnson fucking seizing the day, like making some epic pancakes and then doing pull-ups and like some Sudokus and brain games and shit.
Yeah.
And then like fucking reading up on
Sudokus.
whatever the fuck. Whatever.
Sudokus.
That's exactly what I said.
Doing them damn. Yeah, I can tell you do Sudokus when you call them Sudokus.
Apparently, I'm a 93-year-old woman. Here we go. Finally, now the movie is picked back up again. Here we go. Oh shit. We got Rob Corddry from The Daily Show down here with a machete, and he is pissed.
He was played by Tom Tolles in the remake, and he kept calling everybody lame brains. The dialogue was some of the worst shit I've ever heard in my life.
So that might have been another reason why I didn't like that movie as much. So you said it was mostly a shot-for-shot remake, but they changed the dialogue?
They changed a lot of things. It's not shot for shot, but it's pretty close in terms of remakes.
God damn it. Look at that fucking Davy Jones looking motherfucker. God damn.
And one thing that is dope, though, is that with it being directed by Tom Savini, the special effects in it were going to be amazing. And they were. They were wonderful.
No, I'm sure it was. And I'm sure that he was a fucking asshole the whole time. I met that.
Oh, yeah. He is a fucking asshole. Fuck Tom Savini.
My God. I met him at a fucking convention. And you would have thought that I was meeting fucking. You think that Tom and Tom Cruise and Arnold had a baby in the 80s and this was him.
Yeah.
Which would have been a beautiful child. Look at, speaking of beautiful, that chrome dome. Look at that. Okay, that guy right there is between the ages of 19 and 43.
Yeah, somewhere. He's got that Lloyd Christmas haircut.
He does.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
He looks oddly and frighteningly jacked underneath that t-shirt, too. Like he takes that shirt off and it's like, oh my, like where did this come from? I'm a little turned on. I'll be honest with you. Hold on. I might need to crank one out.
You're a ridiculous little boy. You know that?
Mr. Cooper? We could, Mr. Cooper.
I like how they always refer to them as those things. Like, you're right, they don't call them zombies. They never called them zombies in the Romero movies. And I thought it was great in Shaun of the Dead. They did kind of an homage to that when, he's looking through the mail slot and the guy says, "Are there any of them out there?" And he goes, "Any what?" He goes, "Zombies." He goes, "Don't say that."
Don't say that. Yeah, the Z word.
Yeah, he said, "Why not?" He goes, "Because it's ridiculous."
Well, are there? Oh, beautiful. I saw that movie 4 times in the movie theater, man. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. They came out right about the same time as Napoleon Dynamite. I remember seeing that a couple of times.
I've never seen that movie all the way. I've never seen it. It was, by the time I was going to watch it, everybody had fucking ruined it. And I was this movie could be great, but I still don't give a shit.
It really was, but it's one of those movies I've seen so many times now that I don't even think I like it anymore.
The Hollywood Reporter says, although Romero may not have been aware of the racial impact of Dwayne Jones' casting, the actor himself was very much aware of it. In an interview conducted by Tim Ferranti in 1987 and the feature on the Criterion release, Jones relays a story about a ride home from the set one night. Quote, "We were driving through downtown Pittsburgh, of all places, and heading back when all of a sudden we became very aware of the fact that there were some teenagers in a car following us. At first, we thought it was some of the young folks who were around filming, and I looked back and I said, Betty, those are strangers. And then I looked back, one of them started brandishing a tire iron at me. And the paradox and the irony of that I had been walking around brandishing a tire iron at the ghouls all day long, and there was somebody brandishing a tire iron at me from a car, but in absolute seriousness. And at that moment, the total surrealism of the racial nightmare of the American being worse than whatever that was that we were doing as a metaphor in that film lives with me to this moment.
That's sad.
Fuck. Isn't that wild, though, that they were literally making a movie about that and then that shit fucking happened? God.
Yep. He died, too. He died very young. He was 51 years old when he died.
God damn. Yeah, because I've not seen him in any of the research I was doing, looking up interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
That's sad, man. This is a weird scene. This is probably the weirdest scene in the movie, the sound effects wise. Like, I don't know. This is just... Doesn't this feel weird? Listen to the sound. I mean, I know.
Well,
it's
yeah,
now.
there isn't. They didn't do. There's no, what do you call it? Ambient. There's no ambient audio recording for that.
Okay, all right, yeah.
It's missing. You should hear the sound of crickets through there. You should hear the wood making noise, shuffling and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's a lot of missing ambient audio.
Like they have a little bit of the sound of the grasping, but you're right. There's no crickets. There's no wood. There's no. And then when he hits the 19-year-old, 43-year-old Davy Jones is going to grab a hammer here, and when he starts hitting the hands, it's the weirdest sound. It sounds like a fish masturbating. Oh, did we already see it?
And it was probably audio that failed and had to be recorded.
Well, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on.
YouTube. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh man. There we go. Look at fucking old Billy
There's some
Idol.
good looking makeup. Like you
bunch of goddamn indie. Looks like a bunch of indie workers walking around.
This is what I love, is that the ones they focus in on in the foreground always have great makeup on them. And then if you look at the ones in the background, they have zero makeup.
Well, and they have so little makeup, it's been left to artistic interpretation because it's been colorized multiple times because it is public domain. And in different versions of this, the skins have been different colors. One that's like they're purple, one they're green, I think.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
I think they went with green because that's just kind of what Romero did. That was like the base color for all the zombies throughout all the movies he did over the course of like 40 or 50 years.
But I don't know. I think it works better in black and white to me. Look at goddamn, get off the screen, weird Lloyd Christmas.
He looks like somebody gave a bunch of steroids to an 8-year-old.
Yeah, he looks like, you know that old, not that old, but like that 11-year-old Mexican kid that made all the Facebook pages because he was strong. That's what he looks like. You know what I'm talking about?
He reminds me of like, who's the guy that, look what I can do. Like from Mad TV.
Stewart from Mad TV. Look at me. Look what I can do.
No.
You bastards. There's a lot of subtext going on here, obviously, with the conversation they're having. You know, I say we stay downstairs. I say we stay upstairs. Well, yeah. I say the government, I say we seize control of production. I don't know, maybe. Here we go. Come on up here, honey. Look at this fine piece that Lloyd Christmas has here. My God.
Oh, boy.
There we go.
I like how they're supposed to be kind of farmers and they got that sort of southern cadence, but they're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Because nobody can actually do a real southern accent. It's something that has to be in your DNA. I'm sorry.
I believe that.
I mean, because everybody always thinks it's a foghorn leghorn, or maybe it's going to be something like the banjo talks like this, right? I mean, but it's not. Look, God, would you say something, chick? Would you say something? God damn it.
Do you think it was drugs that killed him? Because he died of a heart attack at 51. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would die of a heart attack.
In my research, it said he was smothered in pussy. I don't know. Look at the body on her hair. My God. Here we go. I know it is, bro. This movie came out in 1968. She had the hair of a 1985 Rat cover band. That took me long enough to get that shit out.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. That's why it's quick. I'm the best in the business. I'm the best.
My dog keeps doing that thing where he shakes back and forth and his collar's really loud. So I apologize if you. Yeah, there he goes. When I said that, yeah.
Well, you know, these things happen. I'll just edit you completely off this. I'll talk to nobody.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you've
I'll
been
make
pulling for that for years, right?
Well, I slowly edit more of you off every week. Last week, if you noticed,
Mm-hmm.
there were 32 seconds of you.
Yeah.
I opened it, I closed it, and
Well,
it
I
was
think you
all
do a
me in the
great
middle.
job. Like you spread it out so you can't really tell that there's so little of me.
Thank you. Well, it's really not hard to tell when there's not very much of you at all.
Is that a fat joke, Kyle?
I love you, baby. I love you. That wasn't a fat joke. I love that you.
No, I didn't say it was a
believe
good
that,
one. I
though.
said, was it one?
Look at Amy Winehouse here. Tried to make me go upstairs, and I said no, no, no. Oh man.
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's
Some kind of mass murders all over the place.
The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Must be cold in that cellar. God damn.
There's a radio.
I know. I realize if you're not watching this, it sounds like she has THO. No, I just mean that she's wearing a coat right now.
What
For
the
some
fuck is a
reason.
CHO?
THO. You know what THO means?
Is it titty hard on? Is that what you're? What
Yes.
fucking grade are you in?
Oh, for God, bro, are you kidding me? That's what dudes do when you're in a restaurant and you see a chick. You go, "Hey, bro, THO, 3:00." You look, high five. It's great, man. Thanks
Every
for the
time
heads up on that.
every time I think of THO, I think of Rose McGowan in Scream, the scene where she opens the door to the garage
Yeah.
and she's got a couple of hard nipples poking through her shirt for no reason at all.
Well, no, I think the reason was that the great Wes Craven directed that, and probably.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. Just talking about him makes my titties hard right now.
You know, I was talking with somebody about Wes Craven last night, and I think, again, here's a hot take. He's a bit pretentious.
I'll kill you. I mean, if
He
you
was-
don't like him, I'll kill you.
He was a bit pretentious. Now, don't get me wrong, he made a lot of great movies that I really loved, but he just talked so pretentiously about A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I went back and watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and there's a lot of silly, ridiculous things going on in that movie.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, but
for
he
God's
talked
sake.
so much. Like, he talked like he had just made, I don't know, Citizen Kane, or he had just made like North by Northwest. It was this amazing. No, it was just a silly slasher movie, and he talks about it with such high. I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way sometimes.
Well, you hate anytime anyone is passionate about their art, I think, because you're so you're so not passionate about.
I have no passion left.
I know it is. So to see a man living his life and making money and enjoying himself
Yeah.
and being happy, like I'm surprised that you didn't like try to reach through your screen and choke him to death.
Kyle,
honestly.
I wasn't always like that. It only happened.
You've been like that ever since I've known you. I can't imagine what fun Jeremy's
Yeah,
like.
figure that out. Why has it been like that ever since?
That's right. Yeah, the day before you met me, you were a goddamn Disney character. You were singing with fucking Forest Life,
Yeah, I was.
and I
yeah.
waltz onto the scene. Look at her, fucking.
It was actually the start of this show is what did it, so it would be a few months later.
Oh, here we go. The start of this show. Well, you know what? At least this show accomplished something, for God's sake. I'm telling you, I just visually, I love the look at this, man. We talked earlier about how, the handheld cameras, how it was shaky, how, that in 1968 with the low budget atmosphere of this gave it a very unique look. A lot of Dutch angles, which was all the rage at the time. They did it in practically every goddamn Batman shot on that TV show then.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, man, I don't know. It's got a very unique vibe to it that, because I hadn't seen this movie in so long, and again, until earlier today when we started recording, and then halfway through, I'm like, yeah, I totally get why people are fucking obsessed with this. I mean, regardless of the fact that it created the zombie genre and it created the whole, you got to shoot him in the head and blah, blah, blah. Just regardless of all that, just the movie itself is fucking fun. This is a fun movie.
It really is. Yeah, you're right.
But that's why, that slow scene where they're boarding up I get it. I just don't know if it plays as well today. Once we're so jaded because we've all seen 8 million zombie movies.
Well, here's the thing that Savini did that he actually did well with the remake, something aside from the effects, is that when they were boarding up the house, there was still that sense of urgency and chaos because every single time somebody would put a board up and they would be hammering it, inevitably you would see a zombie's hand punch through the glass or try to reach through and grab them. So they were able to give you the mundane of them trying to board the house up and sort of build that background. But at the same time, they kind of made it exciting because they had to fight off zombies doing it. So I guess he did that. He might have done that a little bit better.
That son of a bitch. I guess we'll give him credit for this, that bastard.
Yeah, you say what you
won
will.
this
Tom
round,
Savini really is a fucking asshole. And I've met him a couple of times, and he was a dick every time I met him.
That's the new heat that we have on this show, because it used to be the genius Lanny Poffo. We had heat with him for a long time. Firing back and forth. He said some shit about us. We said some shit about him. There was some litigation. But we squashed our beef when I did commentary at a PTW show. He was there. I took him out back. I never told you the story. I said, "Look, motherfucker," I said, we can end this right here one way or another. And I had a knife on me. But he was cool though. We shook hands. All right, here it is, man. This is probably my favorite part of the movie. I love this. I love that. Now, if you're listening along at home, we see the television screen. All the characters are sitting around and they're watching the news and they're explaining what's going on here. And this feels not polished, because that's the problem in a lot of movies when they show local news and stuff. It feels like a fucking multi-million-dollar movie made this shit, right?
Yeah,
this feels
and they
raw.
give it that look of the production company that's making the news, of them being in a sort of sense of urgency, because you can see the people in the back, how the camera moves off of the anchor. When he gets this just in, he gets a memo. You know what I mean? That's exactly how news goes when there's like a catastrophic emergency going on that's being covered live by your news. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you see the footage of, Walter Cronkite delivering the news that Kennedy was dead,
exactly.
This kind of has that vibe.
Well, it was the first time you'd ever seen, or probably not the first time, but one of the first times you had ever seen where the camera wasn't holding in tight on the anchor. It was moving around the newsroom, and you could see the inner workings of the newsroom because they were in just a state of chaos.
Yeah.
So they did that really well for this movie.
They really did, man. And, what I was saying earlier is that Romero basically said, look, it wasn't as simple as us raising the money and making a movie. We doubled up everything that we did. We were smart with the way that we shot it, but also it was two production companies got together. Romero wasn't this isn't a story like Kevin Smith. I mean, Romero shot commercials. Romero had experience. He just didn't ever make a movie.
Yeah. Mom, how was Night of the Living Dead made? Well, you see, when one production company loves another production company, they get together. And they like to express that love.
And they're banned in several countries across the world.
I thought another great idea that we should have done for this show would be if we were going to do some watch-alongs, would be to go back and tackle the official video nasties list.
What is the official videos nasties list?
The video nasties? It's a comprehensive list of the most banned movies. I want to say it's something like 40 or so movies that are the most banned in the most countries.
Of course, every fucking idea you have involved. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the most realistic part of the movie. I'm gonna raise this audio up so we can just listen to this right now.
There's a definite connection. In other words, you feel that the radiation on the Venus probe is enough to cause these mutations? There was a very high degree of radiation.
Well, just a minute. I'm not sure that that's certain at all. I don't think that has been irrefutably
explanation that we have at this time.
In other words, it is the military's viewpoint that the radiation is not the cause of the mutation.
I can't speak for the entire military at this time, gentlemen. I must disagree with these gentlemen presently until this is irrefutably proved.
Everything is being done that can be done.
I love how already the military is denying it,
Professor, you feel that there is a definite
and the scientist is trying to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Dr. Keller and myself.
Doctor, please.
Government denying something, that's weird.
But watch the camera as it follows, and they're not delivering lines. That's the thing. These guys aren't delivering lines. They're talking like you really would.
Yeah.
It does seem to have a bearing. Will there be a reply for this later?
Yes.
There will be a reply.
Yes.
Later this afternoon.
Oh, I love it.
Wasn't that a uniquely 60s thing to have a flag mounted on the front of your car?
I thought you were going to mention the suicide doors, but yeah, up until Trump got in office, yeah. Look at that. Here we go. Yeah, every car in the 60s looks like it was made for a Batman villain.
It does.
There's just so much style.
So accurate. Yeah. They just don't make them like that anymore. Like, that's one of the times where that phrase really applies.
Look at that. That's how I want my wall to be at home. 4 clocks set to different time zones for no fucking reason.
Yeah, for nothing.
I want to know what time I'm coming in every part of this great country.
You don't even do shit in your own time zone, much less anyone else's.
That's true. That's true. I love how this late into the movie we're turning it into a roast battle. This is the longest time that we have recorded an episode in quite some time. This is where like our brains are usually, getting used to hanging up the phone with each other.
Yeah.
Now it's just going to revert to pure rage. You son of a bitch.
We'll manifest that rage by talking shit about each other, which, we almost never do on this show.
Oh, wow. I know. It's crazy. Obviously, the longtime listeners are now rolling their cars from laughter after hearing that.
Yeah. Well, they do that after most of the things that I say. I don't hear that much about you.
Yeah, they hear you trying to tell a joke and they ram it into a tree. I kid. Hey, come on. Look at that. Look at Marty McFly's dad right there. Goddamn Crispin Glover. Yeah, get a change of oil, Dad. Huh? Listen to that fucking accent. It was Dad, and when he opened his eyes.
I don't know. To me, everything just sort of looks like the Honeymooners when it's in black and white.
What you are, I swear to God, you're just saying this shit to piss me off now. You're just saying, like, you're just going to go back until, I don't know, everything looks like a Max Fleischer's out of the Inkwell cartoon.
And I try so much to not have that pretension anymore. I do still have it about some things. But yeah, mainly this is just me trying to get under your skin.
Well, yeah, but that's the opposite of pretentious, though. Like, when you say that the Honeymooners looks like Night of the Living Dead, that's like stuff my mom would say. Well, it's black and white. It all looks the same.
I know. That's the point. I'm trying to get your blood pressure up.
You're just slowly becoming an Eastern Kentucky woman. That's what you're fucking
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I already got these sweet tits. Might as well have the rest of it.
So here's the part where they're explaining that when people die, a couple minutes later they become zombies because of the radiation on this NASA experiment that NASA tried to destroy, or I guess they did destroy, but it's creating the dead to rise. And one of the most hilarious parts of the movie, and this has to be comedy, is right there when the guy on the news is saying, look, it doesn't matter if your loved ones, you got to drag them outside and burn them. They're just dead flesh. Like, that's great comedy. That kind of macabre, deadpan delivery. I love it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick, by the way, who is marketing, longtime listener of the show. He's marketing his pictures. They're macabre pictures, and he says that he pronounces it that time every way he says it now because of this show. So,
yeah, well, you're welcome, Nick.
Also, shout out to a couple of people this week. Apparently, somebody on Twitter, and I they mean so much to me, I didn't even get their name, but I believe it might have been President Obama.
Yeah.
But one of the listeners said that every time that we open up a show, they repeat after me my intro. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Somebody else retweeted that and said they do too. So there you go. That's getting over. Huh? What are you doing that's getting over, Jeremy? What kind of over shit are you doing right now?
I don't know.
Because
honestly,
you feel like the Robert Gibson to my Ricky Morton. I'm taking all this heat. They're fucking infatuated with me.
You know what? Robert Gibson got as many hands down his tights as Ricky Morton did.
I disagree. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look at the hog on that guy. Did you see that? Did he just fucking... I think he just tucked his hog up.
Yeah.
Good Lord. He's got one of those swimmer's bodies, man. Aerodynamic.
I love your
Aerodynamic everywhere
homo,
but the hog.
like
man.
I love your homoerotic commentary on this guy. It's just, I don't know. It's
Well, I don't-
you started out hating him, but you're kind of warming up to him now.
I think with him, I feel the same way that I do with the chick in Doctor Strange. What's her name? The bald chick. You know what I'm talking about? She dies in it. What's her name?
Sinead O'Connor.
No. Sinead O'Connor. Well, anyway, the actress who plays her is this weird androgynous character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this, I don't know what it is. It's like this androgynous thing, and I can't, she has feminine features, but like it turns me on and makes me ask questions about myself. I think it's with this guy. I can't tell, is he 19? Is he 43? I'm asking so many questions, I'm aroused.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, she's a bright and shiny little piece there, isn't she? I never realized
My God.
just how cute she is. I mean,
Really?
there
You
was your
didn't-
lead right there.
She must be a terrible actress, because there's no way that if I have both of those women on set, I'm not going to, especially with the first lady, how bad she is as an actress. I'm just going to have her, I'm going to have her play both roles. You just put on this blonde wig and then play the other one.
His haircut just bums me out.
It's disheartening. It is. It's disheartening.
It looks like he looks like a grown 8-year, like his mom. He everywhere he goes, he looks like his mom just fixed his hair for picture day.
Well, maybe so. Maybe that's the nature of this relationship here.
Maybe.
I've never wanted denim more in my entire life. My God.
I've never wanted to
Look-
be denim more in my entire life.
There you go, baby. That's what it's all about. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I like it. I'm going to rub some.
It's like the most stale vanilla kiss I've ever seen. Come on. You get in there and clean
You're
her
the
teeth.
most stale. Get in there and clean her teeth.
You tell me what
It
she had
sounds
for
like something
breakfast.
sounds like something your stepdad would ask you when you came back from a date when you're 16. Did you get in there and clean her teeth?
Ugh.
I would like to leave. Yes. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they realized this chick was such a bad actress that every time she tried to deliver a line, they were like, God damn it. Look, okay, fine. Now you're catatonic. Okay. We're going to take away all of her lines. And
They did, yeah.
the
They
ones
didn't
that she
write her
does-
as catatonic. They just saw how
That's what
shitty
it
her
was.
acting was.
That's what it was. That was like when they had to write Floyd the Barber off Andy Griffith after he had that stroke,
No.
and he pulled up in the car, and they were like, "Oh, he's drunk today," and he's like, "Rah."
Oh, that's
sad.
so sad. They
It
did
was
the
sad, I
same thing to
must-
Jim Ross, didn't they?
No, they acknowledged that he had Bell's palsy, and they took him.
Oh
off.
no,
They
he
didn't
really
like-
was drunk when he got fired. That's right. Never mind.
No, that was a different story entirely.
No, okay.
The whole. I love how what you're acting like they ran an angle where fucking Undertaker came out and slapped him on the face or something. Well, I tell you what they did do was Taz cut a promo on him one time, and he said, "Hey JR, I'd slap your face, but it looks like God beat me to it." Which, you know,
That's horrible.
bit stiff,
Yeah.
maybe. Here we go. Watch this Molotov cocktail here. Boom, baby. It's the end of the Punisher. You okay? You gonna be all right? It's all the fumes from these cocktails. Look at that!
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Molotov cocktails don't work like that at all. I tried to make some of those when I was a kid, and like
What?
the liquor
What
just
do you mean
the liquor just extinguishes the flame. It doesn't. They don't work.
Wait a minute. No. Normal kids make slingshots. They make potato guns.
Yeah.
They don't fucking make Molotov cocktail. Look at that collar elbow tie up. The Hulkster ripping the shirt off, kicking him off, taking a bump off the car. Here we go.
Well, I first
I just
saw
wanna talk.
I first saw Molotov cocktails in Pink Floyd's The Wall. Remember where those neo-Nazis were throwing them? And I thought me and my friends would try to make some out of these old.
I'm glad.
Old
Yeah, I'm
moonshine
glad
bottles.
that you were inspired by the neo-Nazis in that movie. That's good. That's what the whole point of that scene was about, was go out and look at that. Oh, the squib through the back. Apparently they didn't want to put a squib, or nobody wanted to take a squib on the face, so they had to get one of their friends to do it.
I can't imagine that in a movie where everybody sort of had to chip in to get it finished, that they could afford a pyrotechnics guy who can handle gunpowder and squibs and so forth. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't...
No, two people literally burned to death on the set. That happened.
I don't think it did.
There we go. Oh, goddamn. Running away from the zombies. How many...
Don't say zombies. It's ridiculous.
How many redneck zombie attractions were inspired by that scene?
Oh, I'm sure. So many.
Come on out and shoot paintballs at them.
We can talk about the sadness of how, like, he tried to he outlasted this movie just to be killed by a bunch of rednecks.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean...
He fought off the living dead to be killed by a bunch of racists.
There's apparently, and again, I keep talking about the subtext in the movie because there's a lot going on here, and I'm not even going to begin to say that I understand all of it just watching it for the second time now in years. But yeah, that's absolutely right. When he gets shot at the end of the movie, the black guy lives and then the redneck shoots him.
Yeah.
Because here in a couple minutes, we're going to see they talk to the sheriff who winds up leading the crew of rednecks who wind up shooting the lead here. And he is the most like braggadocious, like he's cutting a promo on the zombies. Oh, speaking of cutting a promo, look at these spot monkeys driving a flaming truck away from the zombies. This looks like the end of Die Hard 2, man. Remember that? Where he blew up the goddamn airplane? People don't talk about that scene enough. Here we go. We got to get out of the truck, Glenda. Shit's on fire. Come on, baby. Oh, God. All that Aquanet in their hair is going to go. No! Fuck. Fuck. Damn you. Telling you what, if she would have had not so much body in that hair, she could have gotten out of that seatbelt.
Yeah. Well, she has what we like to call a hairmet.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, she's okay. She's actually insulated inside of her hair. Did people just have gas pumps on their farm back in 1968?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think.
Look at that. Look at that. I'll get you with this Big Lots lampshade. Oh, fuck yeah.
It's so funny. You look at this, like this was a movie production, and now you look at a TV production like The Walking Dead, and all that went into, because they did heavy makeup on hundreds of zombies for some of the scenes in that movie. And you look here, and in most of the scenes where there's no close-up on any of the zombies, they just have some dark makeup underneath their eyes, and that's what makes them dead, I guess.
By the way, happy Halloween in July. You like that? You like that? That's the marketing I came up with for this podcast.
Yeah, well done.
Halloween in July.
I don't think we needed to come up with something to explain why we were doing this. You can watch Night of the Living Dead anytime. It doesn't.
Well, yeah, you can.
It doesn't have to be a gimmick.
But it's like Fish Tank, bro. You watch that shit where they come people with ideas, they get market.
I think it's called Shark Tank.
Oh, Shark Tank.
You fucking call it Fish Tank.
Well, that's the other one.
I've never even watched it, and I knew that it was called or Shark Tank. Damn it.
Ooh. Here we go. I love this scene, man, because if you're not watching along with us, he just wouldn't let him inside, and now he's getting his revenge. Big Cat Ernie Ladd taking Vern Gagne down. Here we go.
That's actually pretty close. That's a pretty close representation of those two.
I know. That's why I said it. God damn. Look at him. Got some color too, man.
Well, actually, it's black and white.
Well, but it's still blood if it's color. Wrestling terms.
Yeah.
All right. Do we see... Yeah, are they going to reach... They're going to reach inside and eat the guts. I love it! And can we... And if you're not watching along with us, it's kind of easy to take for granted the soundtrack and very lack thereof. But hear the digital, hear that what would you call this? That synth, I guess. That fucking
Yeah, it's a score. I mean, it's not a great one, but it's a score.
No, it's not. But again, because they had so little money and oh, here we go. Here's some of they're eating. There we go. We're seeing the zombies eating the raw meat they got from their butcher friend. One guy's carrying around a hand with him. This guy's got a whole goddamn bone. Look at that. You tell I haven't eaten in a while because I'm starving to death right now. That's actually making me hungry.
I think you just got the munchies.
Oh, yeah. I've smoked enough during this thing. Oh, here we go. But minimalistically, though, that synth, that had to influence John Carpenter, man. Tell me
he did do a lot of that, didn't he? Even in even
God.
before synth got really super popular in the 80s, he did a lot of that.
Dude, he created well, I mean, he wrote the Halloween theme itself, but I mean, he did the Escape from New York synth shit. I mean,
yeah, it was real heavy in Escape from New York, wasn't it?
It's 10 minutes to 3.
I tell you who wasn't heavy though was Kurt goddamn handsome ass Russell.
Oh, man.
Who doesn't love that motherfucker?
I would have sex with him. I bet it would
Can
be
we just
good.
talk about how sexy he is in pretty much everything he's been?
Yeah.
Goddamn bone tomahawk. With he looks like he's 104. I'd fuck him. I'd go into a cave with some cannibals in there, get ripped apart.
Even as the hangman John Ruth in The Hateful Eight. Like that big crazy, 1800s sideburn beard thing he had going on.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. He had the Martin Van Buren's going on.
Yeah. Like, he's so good, and he's just, there's something so captivating about him. Like, I'll watch, and I mean unironically, I will watch Captain Ron. Often. About every 6
Captain
months or
Ron.
so. Because Kurt Russell is that
my-
wonderful. He's that captivating to me.
She can't walk. She's too weak.
Oh my God.
Well, one of us could try to get to the car.
You're gonna turn it over.
Rob Corddry's fucking pissed, bro.
That does
Look, and
look
again,
a lot like
she's
him.
even fucking annoying here, man. God damn it.
She hasn't done a
Killing
damn
me.
thing this whole movie but sit on the couch.
I don't think she's done
You ever
anything
get-
since this movie, has she?
You ever go to a party and you meet up with some girl and you're vibing, and you're enjoying the evening and stuff, and then you just slowly watch her start to drink too much, and then you're just like, well, there goes that. Everything I've spent building. Like, she's that chick at the party. Like, she's drank too much, and she's just going to fucking sit there in the chair and stare at the wall.
I love how you look at all of the chicks at a party the way a college recruiter does. Well, I've spent all this time. And she just goes and throws it all away.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead spawned a franchise. And by the way, keep in mind, I'm not going to have the chance to edit out all of our hacking and dying. So we're an hour in and Jeremy is now getting his black lung. Let's see. So let's mute those coughs this time. Night of the Living Dead spawned a franchise that includes 5 official sequels released between 1978 and 2009. As a result of its public domain status, it has inspired several remakes, the most known of which was released in 1990. Well, that was the Tom Savini one that you were talking about there. I hope that Romero got paid. I mean, this was one of the most profitable indie movies ever made. I mean, at least at that point, look at a budget of $114,000. It made $30 million at the fucking box office.
Yeah.
$30 million in 1968 money. God damn.
Oh, shit. That's like Jeff
put
Bezos'
that
money
in-
today.
Jeff Bezos, yeah, that's right. 30 million. That's 30 million is approximately $14 zillion in 2021 money.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here, look at this Smoky Mountain worker cut this promo here. Listen to this.
They must have thought somebody was in
You know, I think this is one of the rare Romero movies that he didn't make a cameo in.
Well, yeah, they took this away from him, and the motherfucker was like, I'm putting myself in this shit.
Yeah. If you remember in Dawn of the Dead, he played one of the television production company people in the beginning.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Dawn of the Dead also, or Land of the Dead that came out in 2008. Simon Pegg and
It came out in
Edgar
2004.
Wright. Oh, 2004. I apologize. Never make that mistake with a guy who has banged as many chicks with a Jack Skellington tattoo as Jeremy has. 2004. Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright both had cameos in that too.
They did, yeah.
Zombies.
They were actually really good friends with George Romero because George Romero was actually a really big fan of Shaun of the Dead, and I think he reached out through them through a friend of a friend and explained to the guys how much he loved Shaun of the Dead, and they actually became friends. He invited them to do a cameo in Land of the Dead.
That's so cool.
Very cool.
And they reached out to him after The Walking Dead got huge. I mean, I know The Walking Dead's still on. It's been on for approximately 33 years now, but when it was like really firing on all cylinders, they reached out to him like, hey man, do you want to direct an episode of this? And he turned it down. He said that he was kind of what I inferred was he was a little upset that they offered it to him after they had already created the show, because he said that's like reaching out to me after the Bible's already been written.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which I love it, George.
It is a bit bizarre though.
But in George Romero's world, like, and I get it, and I'm not trying to shit talk the guy, but it's like every time anybody ever made a zombie thing, they had to call him first. Like, hey man, what do you think about this shit?
Well, I think they should have, especially considering Greg Nicotero is the special makeup effects supervisor on The Walking Dead, as well as a director of many episodes, and he was actually a protege of Tom Savini, and he actually worked very closely with Romero on Day of the Dead. He actually had a role. He was Tom Savini's assistant doing special makeup effects, but he also had a role as one of the military guys in Day of the Dead. So I guess it is a little bit weird that he wouldn't have reached out earlier on, for Romero.
Oh, dude, this is a big deal. Here we go. He's dropped the fucking gimmick. Now Rob Corddry has the chance. Do I help him out or do I grabbing the gun? Here it is.
Go ahead. Do you want to stay up here now? Helen, get this cover. Get this cover.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. Fighting back and forth. Fighting.
A lot of these fight scenes aren't exceptionally well done. They're very dated.
Damn. Here's what I love. He shoots him, and in most other movies, especially at this time, he would just, take a bump and he'd be out. But no, he's actually going to live for a little bit so he can be devoured by his zombie daughter downstairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we see the hands come in, I love this. Go.
There he goes.
Watch this bump he's getting ready to take. I don't think they had a stuntman either.
One more cutaway before he goes down. You can still see it.
Come on. Oh, he didn't fall.
No
he
fall.
Didn't fall.
Yep.
See, that's the difference. Now he would take a bump and flip and all that shit.
And there would be a very gratuitous cutaway so they could switch to a stuntman.
Yeah, with an obvious bald cap.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, this had to be not only the first zombie movie contemporary-wise, but the first time that, there was the daughter, and the daughter was bitten, and the daughter becomes a zombie and kills the mother. Like,
well, it's just the fact that it's a little
tropes.
Kid, you know what I mean? You didn't see that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, look, Shaun of the Dead took the exact same thing, but instead of having a daughter, they had an old woman, They had a mother. I mean, seriously, but I mean, it's the same principle.
Yeah.
They had Sean's mother, which created that emotional. Oh, I love it. Eating the whole arm. Bitch ate the whole arm by now. Oh. Look at this.
She's now
Karen.
armed and dangerous.
Baby. My baby. Look at that 1992 Tammy Pascatelli hair she has there. Now watch. You're not going to see this pierce the skin, but just like Psycho.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh.
The cuts. Oh, more chocolate. Oh, more Reese's. Ah!
You got your peanut butter
I'm
in my
diabetic.
chocolate. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. You know, I actually heard that George would let you lick the walls after each one of the bloody scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was on if you were... That was after the LSD.
Yeah.
In 1968. You want to lick the walls, man, brings me down. Helps me out quite a bit.
You know, you would think just
damn.
because of the times there would be like an obligatory hippie character in the movie somewhere.
You would think, yeah, because there was a lot going on at this point. Obviously, Vietnam. Are they taking her? Please, please. That really shocked me. Because the movie started off with her.
Yeah.
So I really thought that she was going to be around at the end.
No.
And honestly, for as annoying as she was, and there we go, we see the original zombie that started this whole thing. Oh no!
Oh.
Kill that kid! Kick that kid out that window! Throw her! There we go. The movie started with her. I really thought that, but no, they just killed her, which is fine. But as annoying as she was, I wanted to see her entrails just everywhere. Like the death that one guy had in Shaun of the Dead, Dave or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Remember in the bar where the
when he
zombies
got like
come in,
pulled
they just
apart by a bunch of them, they just kind of ripped his stomach
No.
open and shit.
How fucking sweet was
That was
that?
exceptionally well done. You know that for what the movie was, it was actually, really, really well done. What's his name? Edgar Wright. He's a great filmmaker.
Can we just say, by the way, that, and look at this, I love this really off-putting shot here. That chick's got a selfie stick or something. But the bald dude was right. He was right the whole time. If they just would have stayed in the basement, they would have survived.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's no... I love
That's
it.
the underlying
I love
thing
it.
is that the white guy was right.
Oh.
The old balding white hater was.
That's right. This was made in the 60s, so it wouldn't shock me if a film executive snuck that in.
Yeah.
And speaking of the man who was right, look at him. Why couldn't we just stay in the basement? Why didn't I stay on the Daily Show? I never would have made the winner.
Yeah, but he did Hot Tub Time Machine, which was a grossly underrated comedy.
I liked the fucking second one. I was the only one who liked it.
You are the only one who liked it.
You didn't even see it. Don't pretend you watched it.
I did see it. It was horrible.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. She's lying about watching Hot Tub Time Machine 2. You just blew her fucking head off. He said, no, you didn't, bitch. You didn't watch that fucking movie.
Yeah, because didn't it have Ben in it from Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I like him. You don't fucking like
I don't
him?
care for him. He's a twat.
Oh, bullshit.
He's a twat.
What the fuck didn't you like him? He was great in that movie. He was great in Step Brothers.
Yeah,
he was great in...
Basically, if it's not...
Twat. He was great in Boy Meets World. Is that what it is? He was the bully in Boy Meets World, and that turned you against him?
That's what it was. Yep, that did it.
Oh, man. Look at that bird cage. I've been to some parties that turned into this right here. Just eventually...
The LSD guy showed up and was just kind of dropping sugar cubes for everybody.
I was raising horses. That's right. And then the next morning, look at this. And after all of the insanity, I love the still shots,
Birds chirping. That's why they finally did a little bit of background dialogue, or background audio recording.
Doesn't it feel like there were about 20 years there where every movie ended with a heroic shot of the helicopter?
Yeah.
And now we're going to see like the hero on the corner wrapped in a blanket for some reason.
Is that a film trope of every time there's a Vietnam scene, there's also a John Fogerty or a Creedence Clearwater Revival song?
Yeah. You got to have CCR. I mean, Vietnam was started because of CCR.
It did, I think.
I mean, they wrote those songs, and America said, "Well, we got to go fight now." I mean, that's just what we have to do. And here we go. Look at these German shepherds.
It ain't me.
I'm no fortunate son.
That's right.
There we go. We got this. We got fucking fat Biff Tannen here. This is like, doesn't he look like
a screen door on a submarine? Or screen? We say a screen door on a battleship.
Funny.
Yeah. Make like a tree
Where'd
and
you
get
get
out
the
of
coffee?
here.
One of the volunteers, you're doing all the work, you take it. Thank you.
We should be wrapped up here by 3 or 4 more hours. I swear to God, I don't even know if this guy's an actor. I think that they might have really told this old redneck guy that there were zombies out there, and they just shot his reaction.
Well, I think they told him there were
good
black
here.
people out there that he could shoot, and they filmed his reaction.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, the main actor wasn't even supposed to be dead. That really happened, and they just went with it.
Yeah. They just went with it.
Oh, man. And this got me, man, because, when I first watched this, I think I was 19, 20. And I had heard of this movie, obviously. And I'm watching it. And then when he gets shot here, I was like, oh, my God. Like, it blew me away. Because that still doesn't even happen in the vast majority of new horror movies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
To be that brave. All right, now we're going to kill him off, too. They actually even considered doing a reshoot with a happier ending, but they didn't do it.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, that's what set this apart from other movies of the time.
Well, there was a lot that set this apart, man. I mean,
yeah,
the fact that
things.
I mean, it was like Wes Craven's first movie, The Last House on the Left. He didn't know there was shit that you couldn't do, Romero drew a lot of inspiration from John Matheson's I Am Legend, that book. Have you ever read the book or watched the movie?
No, I've not.
Here I am saying I read
Smith
the book like I read. Well, that's pretty much all you need. Yeah, I've always heard from everybody that's the best version. I liked it. I liked that.
I thought it was a fine movie. It was good. It was all right. I got real sad though about the dog, man, when he was just.
Oh, I know.
He built that relationship with the only other living thing.
People shit on that movie all the time, but name me 10 more movies that gave you as visceral of a reaction as that when he had to choke that dog to death.
Yeah.
Or when that dog got bitten for the first time. I mean, the fact that movie could convey that so strongly, that puts it way.
If you wanted me to name one really, The Thing. Yeah, the scene where the fucking the alien takes over the dog and it splits it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, but here we go. Watch this. Here it is. Don't do it. Don't. Fuck! Thought I could have warned him. Look at weird Harvey Keitel Sr. there with the shot.
There it is.
And then look at this. It ends a lot like the movie Lenny with these black and white still. You know what I'm talking about? Look at that. Look at that Punisher villain right there.
Oh, yeah. Is that a meat hook? Are they alluding to Tony Todd playing Ben in the remake?
That's exactly what they're alluding to. Yeah, they were sowing seeds. Look at how small this cast is, too. Well, not just the cast, obviously, but the crew, man.
Yeah.
So few people.
Everybody had about 4 jobs.
They did. Look at Danny DeVito there. Oh! They don't just show you the hero died. They show you hooking him and them putting him on a goddamn burning pile of fire. No, we really did kill this motherfucker. We killed
I
the
think,
fuck
yeah, I think these stills at the end of the movie are more effective than most of the stuff they did throughout the movie.
Yeah, I agree. Because it also is, showing it almost like it's in a newspaper or something, like the glorification of it. Old Randy Burr. We couldn't have made that movie without Randy Burr.
Not without old Randy.
We love you, Randy. There we go.
And that is it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for checking out the episode. Look at how creepy that is. Look at that. That is.
It really does. The
Special
graininess of it inadvertently makes it look more like it's in a newspaper or something.
Look, and now they're showing after the credits, we return to live action on Nitro as we see the fire here. Unbelievable, man. Yeah, check it out. I'm getting ahead of me. Thank you so much for checking us out on the episode this week, man. Again, if you want to go back and check out the old episodes of this show where we watch other movies like Back to the Future, Roadhouse, RoboCop, do so at obtuseangles.libsyn.com, or, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting. Apple Podcasting, Stitcher, Spotify. What fucking year is this? Again, most of the stuff we do is macabre related. What that means is true crime, stories about people dying, but we put a little funny spin-ski on it. This show is #EvergreenMan, meaning it is not time sensitive. So thank you so much for checking us out. We are new every single Monday, delivered directly to your digital doorstep, whether or not we should be. Again, just hit that subscribe button there and on YouTube, where hopefully you're checking us out here. Jeremiah, we're going to be seeing him next week. You wave goodbye. Tell the kids that we love them. Bye-bye,
Goodbye, kids.
everybody.
We love you.
Goodbye, kids. We love you.